Hey guys, welcome back to the Record Room. I am, of course, your host, Tony Giles, TG, aka Coffee Frog underscore on Instagram. I don't know if some of you guys do Instagram, but if you want to check out my account over there, I post a ton of records on there and bits and bobs, so feel free to follow me over there if you like. This video, I wasn't planning on making today. I have a family trip planned, so I was going to go away for a few days, and when I came back, I fully expected to make this video. However, the record in question on this video actually arrived yesterday. It arrived yesterday evening, so I anxiously tore it open, took a look at it, and was like, I am mightily impressed. Now, the album in question on today's episode is a sequel of sorts to this album. This is Kacey Musgraves' Deeper Well that came out in 2024. For those of you that don't know, Kacey Musgraves is, well, she started out as kind of a pure country artist. I remember listening to her many years ago, being wowed by the richness and the tone of her voice, just absolutely beautiful voice. And since then, I've stayed up and I've listened to all of the Kacey Musgraves albums. And when I heard Deeper Well, it seemed to be a little bit more Americana folksy over country. And I'm nothing against country music. I just don't know enough about country music. But I liked this one enough to the point where I went out and grabbed a copy. This is the transparent cream vinyl version. I believe this is an indie variant. I'll show this to you. I got this when it came out. I'm not sure if it's still available, but for all intents and purposes, very happy with this album. Sounds good, looks good. I have no issues with it whatsoever, and the album itself is fantastic. Opening track, Cardinal, is sublime. Deeper Well, the title track, is just beautiful, autobiographical, really nice. And on the internet, as one does, I'm perusing around one day. I can't remember if someone hit me up to this, but I came across this company called Blood Records, and Blood Records specialize in very limited gimmick vinyl, for lack of a better term. 90% of their output seems to be liquid filled vinyl, but they also do Zotro picture discs, and they do filled discs. There's a Leve album. Leve's new album is coming out that has feathers inside the disc. I didn't actually purchase one of those. I have an indie variant coming from her, or a web shop variant, I should say. But I came across Blood Records and I was really intrigued because, you know, as a record collector, I'm not opposed to some gimmick vinyl, and I already own 3 or 4 liquid filled records. And with liquid filled records, it is a gimmick. They're not really known for their audio quality. They sound fine, they really do. The process on a majority of liquid filled records is you take 2 140-gram clear vinyl discs, sandwich them together, and then put a filling inside it. Now, it's way more complex than that, but that's the simplest way I can explain it. And one of the things about liquid vinyl discs is they are expensive. They are expensive to manufacture. They are expensive to have handmade because each one is assembled by a person. So it's a long process. It's not a quick thing. And when I saw this Blood Records online, the statement was making liquid filled records or filled records, but an affordable price. And I was very intrigued by this because their prices, there were hardly anything available at the time because, as I said, these are very limited drops. But I was seeing things for like, they were 45, 50 pounds. I'm like, that's insane. How could you do this? And so I followed the label because they were doing a lot of contemporary artists, and they did some other stuff as well. And an album actually popped up, and I wanted a copy of it. And it was the sequel to Deeper Well, Deeper Into the Well, which it's not really a sequel. It's Into the Well with a second disc of additional material. But what's cool about this is one of their liquid filled discs. Now, this is a 2 LP set. The second disc, which is the additional content or newer material, comes with a nice printed inner sleeve, as does the original, I believe. This disc comes on, I think it's a forest green. So the second disc itself isn't filled, just comes standard green probably 120 gram. It's not very thick. But the main album, Into the Well, that's the one that's liquid filled. And when I saw it, I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have that. And I looked at the price and it was 45 English pounds. Now, to be honest, that is not much more than a standard 2LP set these days from some places. Some imports are well over that price, which I think is crazy. But this is the 2LP package. Comes with a nice gatefold. Miss Musgraves there. Very nice. Some nice embossing on the back. And I saw this and was like, you know, I'm not just going to grab an album because, you know, it's liquid filled. I have liquid filled records, but I really like this album. It's the second disc of material I don't already own. And the effect of the vinyl, the look, is beautiful. They've taken the concept of deeper into the well, or into the well, or deeper well, sorry, I should say, and they have turned it into a liquid form, which I'm cool with. Now, bear in mind, this only cost 45 English pounds, but look at this. How cool is that? I have to say, for a liquid filled disc, I am mightily impressed. I think this is now the fifth liquid filled disc I've got 5 or 6, something like that. I can't remember. All the others are soundtracks. This is my first pop album, and from what I can tell, the process is very similar to the process I am used to. It's where you can clearly see the lead in on the record. Here is where the record is sealed. The liquid doesn't go past that point, but it does move freely inside. And it is not a thick album at all. The other liquid filled records I have are very thick because they are 2 LPs sandwiched together. Now, this is also 2 LPs sandwiched together, but I think the way they are doing this is they are pressing these records on pretty thin vinyl. I don't know. I genuinely have no clue. It could all be speculation. If someone knows, please do let me know, because I am curious. But the record itself is not super heavy. It's not leaking in any way, shape or form, anything like that. You do have to wait for them. I believe I might have ordered that in April, and it's now early August, so it's like 5 months, 6 months, something like that. I also have a copy of the new Ghost album coming as well, that's filled, because it looked so cool. I thought, okay, the discs are thinner, it's liquid filled. How is this going to sound? Is this going to sound akin to a picture disc? Because picture discs, it's a very thin layer of PVC over an image. So I popped it on, lead in, whisper quiet, to the point where I actually looked at my amplifier and was like, is this thing turned up? And it was. And the sound quality is absolutely fantastic. I have no complaints whatsoever. Does it sound as good as the standard version? Yeah, probably. It actually does. It's not an audiophile pressing. It doesn't profess to be an audiophile pressing, but is it a good pressing? Absolutely. It sounds brilliant. I listened to the album, was, yeah, okay. I forgot I was listening to a liquid filled record. So for my money, this gets 2 thumbs up. I would highly recommend check out Blood Records on Instagram. If you haven't, or if you're not already following them, please do. I just hope they do more. I wish nothing but the best for the label. I have no affiliation with them, but I'm completely blown away by their product. And like I say, I've already got one on order. I don't buy a lot of new contemporary artists, but I will definitely be picking up some more releases. I don't care about the wait time. I'm fine to wait, because 90% of the time, if it's an album I really want, I already own it anyway, or I can stream it online. But this was a genuine nice surprise. I just am completely bowled over and blown away. Blowed. I'm making a new word up there. I'm blowed away. I'm blown away and bowled over at the same time. It's fantastic, and the album is superb. If you've never listened to Deeper Well or Deeper Into the Well, I highly recommend it. It is a great album. Perfect album to just sit on and just, let the world go on around you. It really is. But what about you guys out there? Are you familiar with Blood Records? Have you got any of their older releases? Because this is my first one. I know they did one maybe a year or so ago now. They did the Saltburn soundtrack, which was, I believe, a bath-filled disc. And I saw a few people posting online that they had that. So do let me know, and everybody else know in the comments down below, if you do have any other Blood Records liquid-filled or gimmick-filled vinyl. I would love to know more. But that's it from me. As always, stay gold and spin those blackest circles.